Today I was praying for some of my, well, I would call them enemies. They treat me as an enemy, um, and with contempt, I suppose is the right word. And I was praying, especially for the spiritual abuses that were being committed. And, I got this sense from the Lord that He was, as I was speaking to Him about it, dealing with these things. He was going to be correcting them as He sees fit. And that's good. He corrects me all the time. Um, and I'm grateful for that correction because sometimes we don't realize what we're doing, and He needs to tell us, hey, you crossed the line, and He'll help us make it right if we can. And all the wonderful things He does despite our foolishness. So then, as I was praying, this thing happened, and I saw this lack of correction, this very mild kind of punishment. And I thought, why? When I knew what was going on, and I knew my experience of what had happened, and so I thought, Father, am I wrong? Did did I miss something in what I witnessed? Because this doesn't make sense. Why would you correct these others and not really correct them? Or a slap on the wrist. Like, oh, you get away with it, basically. Why would you do that? Did I did I misunderstand something that was happening? Are they really innocent and I'm witnessing things from a very one-sided or injured heart? And we misunderstand what happened and we're missing something? Because that happens too. I don't know how many times I've thought somebody had done something or thought something and it was because of a misunderstanding, which is why it's so important to go to someone when they've offended you. Because a lot of times, if you just talk to them, you're going to find out that there was really no offense to begin with, but a stupid misunderstanding, right? And so I prayed about that. And I thought, this doesn't make any sense. Please correct me if I'm not understanding. This just doesn't. And as I'm praying about that, I remembered that the Lord corrects His children. And then I realized when He stops correcting us, that's when we need to be worried, right? So we're not His children. So I looked at the verse, and one of them, I'm sure there is other references. I think there's one in Psalms, but the one I was looking at earlier was Hebrews 12:5. You have forgotten the appeal which speaks to you as to sons. My son, do not despise the discipline of the Lord, nor faint when you are reproved by him. For whom the Lord loves, he disciplines, and flogs every son whom he receives. If you endure discipline, Elohim is treating you as sons. For what son is there whom a father does not discipline? But if you are without discipline, of which all have become sharers, then you are illegitimate and not sons. Moreover, we indeed had fathers of our flesh disciplining us, and we paid them respect. Shall we not much rather be subject to the Father of spirits, and live? For they indeed disciplined us for a few days as seemed best to them, but He does it for our profit, so that we might share His apartness. And indeed, no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but grievous. But afterward it yields the peaceable fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. So strengthen the hands which hang down, and the weak knees, and make straight paths for the feet, lest the lame be turned aside, but instead to be healed. To be healed. So, he gave me so much peace in this. The other day, an instructor of mine was sharing some things that he was thinking about, and one of them was all of this tragedy in the world. Now, he was referencing more of like disasters and famine and all of that, but one of these unjust things that we see so much is that the guilty go unpunished. And it makes some people, myself included, it's really hard for us to swallow that, right? That the innocent are subjected to injustice. And it leaves this ache in our hearts. And God will deal with them. He will. He'll separate his people from them. He will do what he needs to do. But when you see someone in your church, even in your fellowships, in your synagogue, wherever you're attending, and you've witnessed with your own eyes injustice and see no repercussions, pray about it. You may be missing something like I have in the past. But have peace with that because God knows things we do not know. We don't know what's in someone's heart unless He reveals it to us. Only He knows. So He's really the only one who can do that disciplining. And He will. So when you see somebody like that, they may not be your brother. But it's not for you to decide. It's really not. Let God deal with it. He will.